Hey guys, if you're listening to this, you obviously like podcasts. You probably like music too, I would imagine. On Spotify, you can listen to all of that in one place for free. You don't even need a premium account. Spotify has a huge catalog of podcasts on every topic, including the one you're listening to right now. The good thing is, is on Spotify, you can follow your favorite podcast so you never miss an episode. You can download episodes to listen to offline wherever you are, so you don't have to worry about it cutting in and out like I have to when I'm at work. And you can easily share what you're listening to with your friends via Spotify's integrations with social platforms like Instagram. Just search for the Really Rich Podcast on the Spotify app or browse podcasts in the Your Library tab. And follow me so you never miss an episode of the Really Rich Podcast. Last but not least, though, Spotify is the world's leading music streaming service. I don't know if you guys knew that. I did not, but it is. And now it can be your go-to for podcasts as well. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's Adam Rich from the Really Rich Podcast. You know, I study people, how they move, not just how they move, I guess, but how they function in life, what makes them tick, what keeps you going, upbringing, surroundings, the setting of their life. You know, when you're talking, like, I always kind of try to compare it with like a story thing. Like, the setting of a story is about where somebody's from, what time period, what location, what the area around them looks like, the buildup, the setting, the area. And I watch how people function in society just throughout time. Like, I've studied it through history. I've studied it with people around me in my neighborhoods, around the world. The internet really helps look around all over every culture and just see what are the things that are consistent with people. Like, no matter where you're from, who you are, or what time period you grew up in, what surroundings you had, what your family was like, all these things I always like trying to figure out. It's like puzzle pieces. Every day I get older, I look and I find a new piece of a puzzle that helps me figure out what life is actually all about, why we do what we do, why we're here, what's it about, what's it for. And it also helps me figure out, though, what direction people are going to go when a new event arises, when something new happens. Like, for instance, I grew up before, I remember vividly what life was like without the internet. I remember having to make phone calls to people's houses just to make sure that they were home, or if you could even talk to them. Sometimes you'd go days without talking to somebody and it was totally normal. Now if you go days without talking to somebody, you guys aren't friends anymore. Basically, you know? And there's certain patterns that I see in people and why they respond the way that they do. And one of the things that I've noticed is that there's one of two things happening when it comes to people with success and how others react to it. Either A, the majority of people in life are haters against people that have success, people that are winners. Or B, it's not that there's more haters, it's that they're the loudest. And I haven't really, to be honest with you, I've studied people my entire life. And the one thing that I've noticed is it's not necessarily that there are more haters. I do believe that is part of it. I do believe that there is definitely more negative people than there are positive. And I think a lot of it is because it's easier to find the things that you don't like. It's easier to know the things that piss you off, or it's easier to at least spot them. And once you've spotted them, now you're thinking about it. And once you're thinking about it, it's kind of in there. But I think about this kind of stuff mainly because I've always been the type of person that appreciates excellence. I just greatly admire and want to know all the inner workings behind why somebody is as great as they are at any given thing that they do. I want to know, I always wanted to, I remember starting to study this kind of shit back with Michael Jordan. And I just wanted to know, why was he considered so much better? And there's so many things that go on that you can see, but that are easily spottable. But the thing that I've noticed with most winners, with most excellent, skilled people, the one thing that most of them seem to have is sorry, I had to yawn. I got out of work. I'm a little tired. It's not you guys, I promise. The one thing I've noticed, though, with most people, almost every single success story, every single winner, and I don't just mean somebody who wins something one time. I'm talking the excellence, the people that you clearly know are the best. You know, like Michael Jordan, Tom Brady, LeBron nowadays, Tiger Woods when he was golfing. You know, the dominance. The people that have dominance in a specific field over everyone else, I've noticed that they all carry one major trait, and it's never on the surface. It's never something that you just can see that they're physically gifted with. The one thing they have is the mental power, the mental toughness, their confidence level, the belief in themselves, the ability to not get rattled when pressure is on. And this applies with everything. This applies with people. I'm not talking about just athletes. I'm talking about anybody who's ever been phenomenal at anything. I'm talking, you look at anybody who, like for instance, Bill Gates, not an athlete at all. But you look at, you can't look at him and physically see anything super impressive about him, right? You don't see that he's got a mental toughness to him. You would never, I don't think many people would look at Bill Gates and be like, yeah, that's a mentally tough dude right there. A lot of people, honestly, let's be real. A lot of people would say, oh, he's kind of nerdy, or he looks nerdy, or he looks dweeby or whatever. But the reality is, man, that you cannot be extraordinarily successful, leaps and bounds above everybody else, unless you have a mental fortitude that is just unshakable. You know what I mean? You can't be average mentally. Like what I mean by that is, I mean when shit's gonna get tough. It always does. You can't go through life and expect things to always be easy. It just doesn't happen. Things are going to get tough in your life, but how do you respond? What do you do when those things get tough? Do you fold? Do you collapse? Do you give up? Do you concede to the opponent? Or do you buckle down, put your head down, and just keep pushing and pushing and pushing and not give up? Because I'm telling you right now, that's the one common trait that I've noticed that every single successful, amazing, excellent person has, is they all have that. They all have that mental toughness. It's amazing. I need to do a podcast all about just that alone. And speaking of, before I forget, speaking of podcasts, have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? When I was trying to get this podcast off the ground, I had a lot of questions. How do I record an episode? How do I get my show into all the apps people like to listen? How do I make money from my podcast? Well, the answer to every one of these questions is really simple. Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. Best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use. And now, Anchor can match you with great sponsors who want to advertise on your podcast. That means you can get paid to podcast right away. In fact, that's what I'm doing right now by reading this ad. When I started using Anchor to do my podcast, it was so extremely easy that I haven't even bothered to look for another app to use. I love this app. It's the only one I deal with, the only one I even recommend, period. I recommend you get on there ASAP. If you want to start a podcast, this is definitely the place to go. It's easy. You can drive around and record. You can sit in your basement and record. You can do it anywhere. It's fantastic. So if you've always wanted to start a podcast, make money doing it, go to anchor.fm/start, anchor.fm/start to join me and the diverse community of podcasters already using Anchor. That's anchor.fm/start. I can't wait to hear your podcast. Sorry to quickly cut off like that. I just didn't want to forget to throw that in. But the point is, I could do a whole hour, well, probably even longer than that. I could write a fucking book on it, actually, about just the mental toughness and thing when it comes to people, because it's super impressive the way that you can respond to failure and shit like that. But it's weird. The thing that I think is weird to me about it is that those types of people that win and they're constantly good, they're excellent, they're dominating over the rest of the people in their field, they have that gift. But what I've noticed is when they do win, like the more you see somebody win, it blows my mind how many people hate seeing that. Like, it's weird to me because, listen, you don't run across a ton of people that are that dominating at any given field that they do. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you might run into 1,000 basketball players and none of them are Michael Jordan. You might run into, thousands of golfers, none of them are Tiger. And it's crazy to me that when you see, like, Donald Trump is a perfect example. You know how many people hate Donald Trump? And it's crazy to me because all he does is win shit. And I'm not trying to push him or so, like, before anyone gets pissed off and they're like, fuck Trump or whatever, because I'm sure that's coming. It's not about whether or not you like him or hate him. My point is, if you go back and look at his life, the things that he's done in his life, he just wins and wins and wins at everything he gets himself involved in. I remember there was a dinner that he was invited to that was a presidential type of, I can't remember what the dinner was on. You can look this shit up, there's a video of it. And Trump is sitting in the audience with all these, I want to say congressmen or something. He's at this dinner, and Obama was up there. He was president at the time, Obama was. And he's up there and he's talking to Trump and he's talking shit about Trump, and Trump's just sitting there and, taking it because he doesn't have a microphone in front of him anyway. And so he's sitting there and he's taking it, and all of a sudden, Obama says something along the lines of, you have this and you have this and you have this, but the one thing you'll never have is my job being the president of the United States. And everyone's like applauding and laughing at Trump, and Trump just sits there quietly. And this is before he was elected president. And here's what's crazy to me. Love the guy or hate the guy, what is so fucking incredibly impressive to me is that he sat there quiet, took that shit talking like a man, or like a champion. Sorry, you can be a woman and have that kind of mentality too. So I don't want to discredit anyone or, any of that. But he took it like a fucking champ. Didn't say shit. And then he ran for president and fucking won. And dude, listen, man. This guy could have been the worst, most evil person on the face of the planet, and I would still be impressed by that. Because it's the sheer, when you have that kind of an ability to listen to just shit just coming at you, everyone's laughing, everyone's making fun of you, and you don't hear none of that. All you do is go out and execute and win. Especially after someone says you'll never be able to do something, and then you do it. Oh, fuck. To me, that is so fucking incredibly impressive. I love that shit so much. I don't give a shit who it comes from. I absolutely, I don't want to say I hate anybody, but like Hitler is the most awful, worst human being it was certainly in recent history in the last 100 years, but arguably he's in the top 5, top 10 ever, right? Might even be the top 1 or 2. But the point is, if Hitler did something like that, I would hate his fucking guts. I would hate everything about him. But that sheer ability to do something like that is always impressive to me, no matter who it comes from. To be able to, and listen, I don't want anyone to twist this shit and be like, oh man, you're saying you like Hitler or he's good. No, I'm not. I'm not saying anything even remotely close to that. What I am saying is, regardless whether you love somebody or hate somebody, their ability to be phenomenal at something, it never takes away to me, it always trumps, no pun intended, it always trumps the thing that you may hate about a person. The sheer ability to be able to do what he's done any of these people is just incredible, especially when the odds are against them. and everyone thinks there's no chance they could ever do it. It's crazy to me how, like, when everyone tells you can't do something and then you rise above, when everybody's out against you and thinks you can't do it, and then you rise up and do it anyway, oh, it's so fucking impressive to me. It's so crazy. I love it. But the fucked up thing about it is that all you actually see, or all you hear on, like, the internet, on social media posts, and you just hear a lot of people hating. Like, if you think about it in sports terms, the Patriots, Tom Brady, for instance, is one of the most hated quarterbacks in the world. And he's very charitable. He's very nice. He, like, you never hear about him being cocky or being a piece of shit. He has, like, an I don't want to say an arrogance, but a confidence to him. And he may talk shit and everything when he's on the field. But, like, when you see him in the media, when you see him on TV, when you see him in his social, like, any of his social media posts or anything, when you hear him interviewed or everything, he is the most humble, nicest, guy there is. But people just constantly shit all over him. I can't tell you how many people that I work with, or that I've met, or that I've just a family member that are just like, oh, fuck Brady, I want to see somebody else win. And it's like, to me, I mean, don't get me wrong, there are other teams that I wouldn't mind seeing win. But when I know that he's going to the Super Bowl or he's going to the playoffs, dude, I always root for him. A, because I'm a U of M fan and he went to U of M. And B, because of the excellence, man. Like that, the fact that he goes to he's been to the Super Bowl more times than most teams. You know what I mean? Like him himself. And we're talking teams that have been around for 50, 60, 70 years. He's gone to the Super Bowl himself more than most teams in the NFL have at all. It's wild to me. And yet, here we go with people just... The Yankees, the same thing. The Yankees will spend all this money, get all these great players. They win and win and win. They haven't really lately, in the last decade or so, they haven't really been that spectacular. However, throughout the course of the last 100 years, basically, they've been phenomenal. Almost 100 years. Maybe it's like 70, 80, 90, whatever it is. But anyway, they've been amazing. They win all the time. The Detroit Red Wings used to win all the time. Like, they used to go to the Stanley Cup a lot. Throughout the course of their history, they had some good years early. They had some decent years in a stretch there. And then I would say ever since the late 80s, early 90s, they have been, I think until last year, the year before, they had like 20 straight years where all they did, or 23, I think it was. They had like 23 straight years where all they did is they went to the playoffs every single year. And I remember vividly thinking, like, man, in my entire life, almost my entire lifetime, they've gone to the playoffs, which is wild to me. It's insane. I mean, I don't know, dude. Tiger Woods come along, and most people were like, oh, I'm done. I don't care to see Tiger. Tiger was different, though. It took him like a good decade of winning before people actually may have not wanted to see it anymore. It's weird to me that he was almost a different case. There was really, up until he started cheating on his wife and get caught and all that, he got caught and everything. Up until that happened, most people were still kind of rooting for him. And it's just, I don't know, man. It's just very rare when you see somebody constantly winning and then people are happy about it. And there's some. But it made me realize, is it the fact that most people, there's more people that are negative, or is it that they're the loudest ones? And I think, to be honest with you, it's just more that they're loud. They're the louder version, because the people that are positive and happy and doing good in life, and they're rooting for their friends and family to do good, you don't hear, like, a lot of times when good things happen, they see it and then they just keep going. They don't really stop to comment. But a lot of times what people will do is when they see a post on Instagram or Facebook or something and they don't like the message, they don't like the post, they'll say stuff that, or they'll comment in a bad way, in a hateful way, like to try to be a dick or just be mean, or just, oh, you're stupid if you believe this, or you're stupid if you think this, or that post is stupid, or you suck or something. It's so weird to me that people can like put that much time and energy into something like that, into just spreading hate to people. Like, I don't know, is it that they have to get it off their chest? Because I know when I'm mad, even if I don't want to complain or whine to people, a lot of times if I'm pissed, I like to get it off my chest. I like to share it. And it's not that I want to bring people down. It's not that I want to be shitty to people, but it's usually when I'm mad about something that's happened in my life. It's usually not, I usually don't go on, I mean, you can look at any of my social medias. It's very rare that I go on any form of a social media to shit on somebody, unless it's somebody who's really fucking over a lot of people, because that I've always had a problem with. If there's somebody that is in power that's shitting on a lot of people and fucking their lives over, basically, I have a problem with that, and I have no problem speaking my mind. But I never go to, like, if somebody shares an Instagram post, I rarely, like, anymore, I never do it. But I mean, even when I was like younger, when I first got on social media, I rarely ever did I go on somebody's post and be like, you're wrong, or this is stupid, you believe this, you're stupid. I can't think of a time I've ever done that. I know I've disagreed with people's posts in the past, and I've tried to, usually if I go on there, I'll try to at least relay facts or relay why I think the way I do, or why that person may be wrong. Because what I do hate is I hate when somebody has like bullshit that they want to spew and it affects tens, hundreds, thousands, millions of people with just sheer bullshit. I hate that. It drives me nuts. So I don't know. I just realized, man, the negative people want to they just want to get it out there. And maybe that's why they're so negative, because they're angry all the time. So they're negative because they're angry. And when you're angry, you just want to get it off your chest and say something, or you're mad at somebody who is, I've had people trying to shit on me just for being positive. And I'm like, well, where is getting negative getting you? What's that doing for you? How's that working out for you? Doesn't make a whole lot of sense if you think about it. And listen, I understand fully that life is hard. Life is super difficult. It throws shitty curveballs at you that you never expected to happen. You can have the highest of highs in your life, and then it could be followed right up with the lowest of lows. But it can also be vice versa. I mean, I guess the reality is, like, when I was younger, I used to look at things from a negative lens. I used to think to myself, like, why should I be so positive? I used to get mad when I'd see positive people. I understand people. I definitely get, if you're a person that's very negative, and usually if you kind of look at if you're a pessimist, if you kind of look at the bad parts of every situation, I get it, because I was there. But luckily for me, I had parents that, like, kind of, I think with information, they gave me a lot of information. My parents always liked to teach me and like to try to make me smart. And as I've gotten smarter, as I've gotten older, I've gained more knowledge. It's made me a more positive person, because there are so many things in life that are worth being happy about, that are worth appreciating. You know what I mean? Like, you never step back. I mean, most people don't ever step back and think how really genuinely blessed and lucky they are. How grateful they should be. Most people don't stop and think of appreciating little things, man. Like, think about this. If you're able to hear what I'm saying right now, that automatically means that you at least have access to a computer or a cell phone or some form of device, technology-wise, that allows you to listen to podcasts or watch YouTube or look at the internet. And that alone is a major, major benefit over billions of people in the world. Do you know how many billions of people in the world do not have that? Like, if you have this, if you grew up in a place where you had at least some bit of money, where you always had food on your plate, food on the table, if you always had a roof over your head, regardless how big of a house or how shitty of just a shithole you may have lived in, the fact that you have a place to call home is greater. There's millions and millions, if not billions, of people in the world that don't have that luxury, that don't get that. And if you live in America, or if you live in a booming nation that has plenty of resources, and if it's a wealthier nation that you're growing up in, where you have the internet, where you have friends, where you have vehicles, where you have homes and things like if you're in this type of a society, then it's very easy to take for granted how many people in the world don't have that. How many, damn near the entire continent of Africa doesn't have that. It's, and I'm kidding when I say that, because I'm sure there's tons of major cities in Africa that have plenty of technology. But I don't think there's not a lot of people that live in Africa that would rather have their upbringing and their experiences and live in the towns they live in and have the type of money and wealth or whatever that they grew up with and that they currently have. There's not a lot of them that would keep that over having the American lifestyle. There are literally millions, if not billions, of people who would kill to be living in America in some shitty neighborhood, in a shitty apartment with just barely scraping by, living on welfare. They would rather have that than to grow up in Africa where they're at. And not just Africa, dude. There's places in tons of Asian countries. Korea, think about North Korea. Fuck North Korea, they don't even have actual real internet. They only have the internet that's been governed by their government. It's like they put a limit switch on that bitch. You only get so much information in North Korea because it's very highly propagandized, if that's a word, but I think you know what I mean. And there was somebody that went over there, and they were trying to get footage. And they secretly took certain shots of the area, the town, in the streets. And there's literal cities that have no cars. And I'm talking cities with downtown roads and big buildings. And you would think that there's a lot of traffic and a lot of people walking around, and there's nothing. These pictures had nothing. It looked like a fucking ghost town. It looked like what you would see in a movie if the apocalypse happened. And then all of a sudden there was the world got eliminated, billions and billions of people, and now all of a sudden you're walking through a downtown area. It looked like the fucking Walking Dead without the zombies. It was crazy. The countryside, no cars on the road. The main highway, no cars on the road. Downtown in the city, no fucking cars on the road. Barely any people outside at all. It's insane to live like that. And they don't even know. That's the fucked up part, is with their internet, they don't even know how bad they have it. They don't even know how far technology has come in the real world. So it's just, when you live a life of appreciation, like when you can appreciate what you have, regardless how little it is, when you can appreciate the good experiences that you've had, when the good things in life that you've ever even gotten to experience or may still be experiencing, when you live that kind of a life, and you acknowledge the greatness that is in your life, regardless how big or small, it's truly difficult to live a super negative life. It's easy to be upset about certain things that happen when they happen. Look, dude, you get a flat tire. It's hard to be very positive about that. You get caught at a red light when you're running late. It's hard to be happy about that. You get... I don't know, you get punched in the face by somebody because of a misunderstanding. It's hard to be positive about these things. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. I understand it's hard when shitty things happen to you to be positive in the moment. But I'm not suggesting to, get kicked in the teeth and then be like, thank you, can I have another? I'm not saying that. What I am saying is, don't dwell on your shortcomings. Don't dwell on your flaws. Don't dwell on your surroundings. Don't dwell on people giving you negative shit, like trolling you online and talking shit and saying you suck and that your videos suck and that your content's shit and that your Instagram page is trash and that you don't know what you're doing. You're not good at it. You're never going to succeed. You are always going to suck. Your whole family sucks. When you hear dumb shit like that, think of the source. Is that person's opinion important to you? If it's a stranger that you've never met, fuck that person. Who gives a shit? It doesn't matter what they have to say. But if it's somebody you hold dear in your heart and they tell you suck It's hard to hear, but at the same time, you have to continually keep confidence in yourself. And listen, maybe at the time, maybe at that minute, you did suck. Maybe you did put out an episode of a podcast that was fucking trash. But that doesn't mean they all are. And that doesn't mean you're always going to be. You have to just stay the course, believe in yourself, have confidence, stay positive, and just appreciate what it is that you have, what you've experienced, what you've seen, anything good in your life. Remember that. And think about that. You'll be so much better off in life. And ignore the negative bullshit. Is there more negativity in the world than positivity? Probably. Is it louder? Definitely. The negative shit is always going to be louder. So you need to put your earplugs in. Keep your head down. Just go to work. Just do what you're doing. Stay positive. Believe in yourself. And you'll be absolutely fucking fine. I guarantee it. Don't try to please everybody. I'm not saying go out of your way. Definitely don't try to fuck people over. But don't do what you want to do to make other people happy. Do what you want to do to make yourself happy, as long as it's not fucking people over in the meantime. If you're not screwing anyone else's life up or affecting them in a negative way or, inconveniencing them, then do what you want to make you happy. As soon as you inconvenience others, that's when I'm not on board for myself or anybody else. I don't want anybody's happiness to come at the expense of somebody else's. It's just that ain't how life should be. We should all be out there trying to make each other happy, make ourselves happy. And anybody that comes along, listen, man, there's a lot of dumb people out there. There's a lot of racist people. There's a lot of asshole people. There's a lot of evil people. Your job isn't to make every single person happy or bend to their will. It's not their world, just like it ain't yours. We're all in this together. We all only get so much time on this planet. We all only get certain time periods to live. I mean, it's weird to me to think that in 1,000 years, this podcast could actually be out and heard. Like, it's weird to think that. I mean, I'm almost positive that some kind of, societal downfall will happen long before that, because it just feels like that's the direction that things are going. And I don't mean that to be negative. I'm not trying to, shout at the rooftops my negative approach here. I'm just trying to say that it's hard to even fathom it just continuing. Maybe we will. Maybe everything will be great. Maybe we'll but it's just weird because it seems like it seems like the more connected we are as a global network, the more negativity and evil shit tends to rise to the top. And I'm trying to do my part in the positive aspect, the light. I'm trying to shine the light to people as much as I can. We need more people doing this. Imagine how great the world could be if everybody was happy and positive and helping each other and doing good things for others. Think about how much better everything would be. But instead, you're going to hear somebody, after I say something like that, you're going to immediately hear somebody else go, oh, well, that's just not realistic, so I don't even know why you would fucking waste your time trying. And it's that negative attitude that slows us down, that keeps us from progressing in that direction. So don't do that. Don't be like that. Everything's going to be great the second you believe it will. Now, are you going to have moments of darkness, of negativity, of feeling shitty towards a certain person, or even wishing ill thoughts towards people? I have moments. I have the thoughts will pop into my head, but I try to ignore it. I try to move on past it. I try to realize as quickly as possible, dude, that ain't you. You don't feel like that. Don't let one person, no matter how shitty they are, affect you, your mind, your mentality, and cause you stress. Stress is terrible. It destroys the human body. I don't know how it can be measured. I don't know if scientists have really fully got a grasp on it, but it is a proven fact that stress will fuck your world up. So try to move on from stressful situations as quickly as possible. Try to be appreciative that you made it out alive in the way you did. It's all perspective. It's how you look at life. It's how you look at your own personal situation. It's how you look at yourself. Have confidence. Believe that everything's going to be great, and then go out and execute. Go out and do as good as you can to make that reality. And when bad shit happens, accept the fact that moments of bad will arise here and there with everybody in life at any random time, right? You can't control when they happen. But they happen, but they're moments. You have to understand that. You have to realize that. Think about that. It's not easy. I know it's not. And sometimes it takes longer than others, like mourning the loss of a loved one is definitely going to take longer than, breaking the tip off your pencil when you're writing, or, stubbing your toe. Obviously, every situation is going to have a different amount of anger or negativity or sadness or depression or bitterness or jealousy, or there's all kinds of emotions that are going to run through our heads, and you don't know when they're coming. But anytime you feel that you're getting hotter, like your blood pressure is starting to bubble, like you're getting pissed or you're getting angry or sad or mournful, anything, any negative emotion that comes into your life, try as hard as physically possible to just say, all right, this is a moment. This isn't this isn't permanent. No matter how it may look today, this is not my permanent reality. And I can move past this. I'm better than this. I'm bigger than this. And life goes on. And great things are going to come my way. You just have to let go as quickly as you can. You have to let go of the negative emotions that run your mind. And stop and listen. Even if you hate somebody and you see that they posted something that you don't agree with, just ignore it or counter it by putting out a different post that counters what they're saying. You don't have to go onto their post and shit all over them and be negative and just be hateful and talk shit about them or tell them they're wrong or they suck or they're dumb or whatever. You don't have to do that. All you have to do is purely put out your positive light, because positive light counters darkness every day. Darkness never overtakes light. Light overtakes darkness. Remember that. But I got to go, guys. I love you so much, and thank you so much for listening. If you want to get a hold of me, it's you can find me on Instagram at Really Rich Podcast. You can find me on Twitter at Really Rich Adam. LinkedIn, Adam Rich. Please get a hold of me. I'm trying to connect with everybody. That's one of my goals. Connect with everybody in the whole damn world. Or you can get a hold of me through the Anchor app if you're listening through there. You can leave me a voice message on there. I can listen to them. I can comment. I can call back or talk back. If you want, leave me a message. Leave me your phone number. Even if you hate me, you love me, whatever. Leave me a message. Tell me why you feel the way you do, or why I'm wrong or right or whatever. Anything you want to say. I encourage it. I like connecting with people and connecting with the audience, everything. So I love you guys, and I just want to help as many people as physically possible. So please get a hold of me. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you soon, all right? Peace! I'm out of here.